flying toasters. When people are in college, people tend to have standard jobs, like something within the hospitality industry, or they work in retail. But when I was in college, I had a different type of job. I was a bus operator, and not many people can say that. One spring morning in my freshman year, my friend and I were walking by the student union at UMass Amherst, and we happened to see a city bus sitting in front of the student union, which was a little rare because it was in the center of campus, and there's really no roads to get there. So we decided to go over and find out what was going on, and they were hiring students to become bus operators for the local bus company. And their plug was that they were the highest paying job on campus. So we're like, perfect, because who doesn't like money? So we decided to find out a little bit about the program. And with us going at the end of the spring semester, we found out that it would be a summer training program. So we would have to commit to a few weeks over the summer where we would learn on standard school buses, so manual transmission, which I had no clue how to drive. And we would learn and take a road test and a maneuver test on these standard school buses. And then once we got our license from the state, then we would learn how to operate the city buses. To give you an example what type of bus it was, it's like the ones that you would see in Boston, and then also the older style buses like the one that was in Speed, which we call fishbowl buses. And then once we were trained on those for the fall semester, then we would be able to operate routes. And the kicker for this job was that the schedules were based around the student. So if you're a morning person, there was routes that started at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Or if you wanted to work in the middle of the day, you could work then, afternoons, or you could work till as late as 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on how your school schedule went and what kind of person you were. So I figured, why not? I'll try it. So I learned how to drive a school bus manual, which was quite a challenge because learning how to double clutch and shift on a hill with cars behind you and not hit them was quite a challenge. But I made it through and went through the organization quite quickly. Now, because they're paying for your training and everything else, you have to commit to at least a year. Well, with most people working at UMass Transit, no one commits to at least a year because it's like a big family. You end up getting sucked in for a long time. I was there for 5.5 years. So I stayed past when I graduated. I ended up staying there. The organization itself has a pretty broad structure for being a transit company. It's actually set up like our normal city company. So you start out as an operator, and then you can go on to become a trainer, where you can train other people how to operate the buses. Then you can also do field trip jobs, which is you drive either the school buses or the RTS buses for any group that's associated with the university. Then you can also progress into be a radio operator, which is a dispatcher, so you're in charge of everybody who's out on the road and responding to accidents and everything like that. And then there's a higher level where you're the driving supervisor, where you're pretty much in charge of everybody. And then they also had student staff positions, which are beyond that, which you're pretty much administrative person, which is what I ended up being once I left the university. I was in charge of the whole field trip department. So I was tasked with getting different field trips to come into the university and come use our service, and I went to talk to different groups and learned a lot of different things about the university and how they could come and how we could help them. And I did a lot of interaction with the community as well. So within the organization, a lot of people tend to stay there for a long period of time, like I previously stated. And it's just because it is a really great family. You learn a lot. You meet a lot of diverse people in that type of environment. I have numerous stories, like the one I told before, where I ended up crashing into a fire hydrant because of a snowstorm and a crazy passenger. We have plenty of crazy passenger stories, which I could go into, but I probably won't go into because it would take too long, but I probably can save them for another table topic or another speech at another time. But with this unique job, I decided that I gained a lot of different skills that I wouldn't necessarily have gotten from your standard retail job, or like something that you would normally get as a typical college student. I ended up gaining a lot of leadership skills that I hadn't had to be tasked with at all. I was doing a lot of time management, a lot of scheduling. I was a supervisor previously before I went to this company, so it actually did help me quite a bit in that respect. But just being able to interact with a lot of different companies helped me out quite a bit. Also, I gained a lot of lifetime friends by being there. It was like my second family. If anybody has ever been in a band or a fraternity, sorority, it's that kind of companionship that everybody's kind of very gathered and very unique work environment that you don't really gain from any other place. So that's about it for my recent college job.